How does that work, Dana? Because I see a lot of people, like, people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but what's, like, isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you don't
boxing thing?
You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day?
You hear a guy going,
now?
I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters.
Either way, the last thing you nearly need in your life is for things to go wrong and you were showing off how you were a big shot financially when you didn't have to, really. You didn't have to do that. And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed or was it your own financial ignorance?
Now, he's accused in multiple lawsuits, all right, of owing millions for luxury watches, gold, and rent as well on the apartment that we just talked about, okay? And so he's got about, I want to say, I counted about 6 lawsuits.
The biggest contract mess in boxing history has officially exploded, and Floyd Mayweather is now at the center of a situation that is quickly spiraling out of control, because what he thought would be a simple move, take the money and adjust the terms later, has now turned into a full-blown legal disaster after Netflix stepped in and completely shut that idea down. And what is happening right now is shocking the entire combat sports world, as insiders reveal that Mayweather could be facing a massive penalty that may reach up to $100 million or even more.
Do what they got to do and say what they got to say to try to, get in there and make money. It's not even going to be funny. It's going to be bad.
From the very beginning, the contract between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao was clear, structured, and officially announced as a real professional fight. Not an exhibition, not a friendly showcase, but a legitimate bout where both fighters would put their records on the line, and Netflix went public with full confidence, locking in the venue at the Sphere in Las Vegas and setting the date for September 19th, making it one of the biggest planned events in modern boxing history.
Ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He fucking smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment. That I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a book.
Rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. He custom built the house, by the way, in like 2006.
Yeah.
Started at 14, reduced to 12,
yeah.
10, 8 came on the market, and it was a lot of house for
But everything changed when Mayweather appeared at a public event and casually started shifting the narrative, first suggesting that the location might not be finalized, and then dropping a bombshell that shocked everyone by claiming that the fight might only be an exhibition, a statement that instantly raised serious legal concerns because it directly contradicted everything he had previously agreed to in writing.
Biggest fights you've ever had?
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, which ironically is a boxing event, but it's the biggest combat sports fight ever.
What did that gross?
It did 4.4, 4.5 million buys at $100 a buy.
Yeah. So that worked out okay.
According to sources close to the situation, that single statement may have triggered an immediate breach of contract because the agreements he signed clearly defined the fight as professional. And the moment he publicly challenged that definition, he put himself in direct conflict with the terms he had already accepted.
Way back, again, 5 years ago now, but that was like the initial rumblings around that fight. And what Floyd did was use Mayweather Promotions to bring them this fight and say, if you'll front us this money, we'll put this fight here. They fronted him the money. He took the money, had the fight at the Hard Rock in Miami with Fanmio instead. That was the company that put it on, Fanmio. And Logan saw none of that front end 10 mil, and the people that paid Floyd the 10 mil never saw a dime back. It's nasty work what he did. But this has been like one of Floyd's MOs, is that he leverages his fight name or his quote unquote assets, and which is what, a lot of wealthy people do. They leverage their assets to take out bigger loans or, whatever. But Floyd does it in such a reckless way that no one ever sees return on it. He just takes money. It isn't a loan. He steals.
What makes this even more damaging for Mayweather is the fact that he reportedly signed multiple agreements over several months. Not just one, but 3 separate contracts, each one reinforcing the same conditions. And each time he received advance payments, meaning he didn't just agree to the deal, he financially benefited from it before attempting to change it.
Crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know?
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
Fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the state.
And this is exactly where Netflix becomes a major problem for him. Because this is not a small promoter that can be pressured or delayed. This is a global corporation worth hundreds of billions of dollars, with elite legal teams and a reputation to protect. And they're not going to allow anyone, not even Floyd Mayweather, to damage their brand on a worldwide stage.
Taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall, potentially. You're right. Fall. Oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And and I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape made it.
Reports suggest that the contract includes a strict penalty clause, and this is where the situation becomes extremely serious. Because if Mayweather is found to be in breach, he could be facing damages ranging from 8 figures all the way into 9 figures, meaning the financial consequences could be absolutely devastating.
Contact my people again later, and hopefully I can get it this afternoon and actually read the specifics of the suit and what the allegations are. But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, when if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first-class hotels, or you're, buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't, it goes.
On top of that, everything is reportedly documented in detail, from digital signatures to IP tracking to payment records, creating a complete trail of evidence that could easily be used in court, leaving very little room for denial or escape.
Allegations about the 340 million, it just didn't ring true to me, because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, you know, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been, that type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's paid, and the guidance that he's.
Manny Pacquiao has already addressed the situation publicly, making it clear that Mayweather has already received his advance payment and has no valid reason to back out, emphasizing that the agreement was always for a real fight, not an exhibition.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay.
At the same time, reports about Mayweather's financial situation are starting to raise serious questions, with claims of lawsuit from jewelers over unpaid luxury items, including watches and chains worth over $1 million, suggesting that financial pressure might be playing a role in his recent actions.
Some represents the $500K, $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took but never paid.
Additional reports of unpaid rent and other disputes have only added more fuel to the fire, creating a narrative that the man once known as Money Mayweather might now be dealing with significant financial challenges behind the scenes.
It's in the contract. Guess what? Al Heyman is clear. And now it explains why Floyd don't have Al Heyman in the lawsuit. He can't sue him. Come on, man. Al covered his tracks. Now, he may be getting sued by big corporations, stuff like that, but he's not being sued by any fighter. They can't sue him. You get what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather messed up. And adds insult to injury, Floyd Mayweather has a gambling problem and he spends a lot of money. He loves to spend money. So whatever he have that's in his possession, he's spending that and blowing that on top of the $340 million that he said that's owed to him. Meaning that he never really got paid from the Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor fight. Come on, man. Al Heyman got power of attorney. You dig? And he covered his tracks. So shout out to the brother man, Al Heyman. You did a good job.
This is why the potential penalty from Netflix becomes so dangerous. Because if Mayweather tries to walk away from the fight, he could be hit with a financial blow that goes far beyond anything he has faced before, potentially exceeding $100 million.
And you've been praising him and worshiping him. Continue to praise him and worship him then. You get what I'm saying? You dig? True. And another thing, let's thank Al Heyman.
Well, you know, I guess I gotta do like everybody else and thank Al Heyman.
That's what y'all been doing. You pro Al Heyman and PBC YouTube channels, and a lot of you fan bases online. That's what you've been doing. Continue to praise him, Ben. Al is a smart businessman. He finessed the game. Let's give Al Heyman a round of applause. Good job, Al. You did a good job. And this is a lesson to all of those out there, you know, who think because you signed with the black man that you will not be taken advantage of and the white man is the evil devil. If that's your position, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with however you feel either way. But just understand, when someone wants to steal from you, they don't
Sources also reveal that deadlines have already been set, with Mayweather required to confirm his commitment in writing and given a limited window to resolve any breach. While at the same time, production for the event continues moving forward, meaning delays are becoming increasingly expensive.
He was too distracted spending. And when you see somebody like Floyd Mayweather, that's the oldest trick in the book, y'all. Y'all know. When y'all see somebody flogging money everywhere, they got this, they got that, they got this. Was it Gervonta Davis? Tank told us 2 years ago that the reason they held Floyd Mayweather, you can put it back on the screen, captain, in Dubai is because he had owed them money. And they wouldn't release him until he announced the fight to give them their money back. You know they do that over there in Dubai, right? You ain't going nowhere if you owe a debt. He was trapped over there for almost 2 months, according to Gervonta. They shared the same manager, Al Layman, who collected money in cash because Floyd Mayweather gave him a power of attorney to do so. And so when Floyd went down there and sued Showtime, he's suing Showtime, the company, the network, that publicizes these fights.
There are even reports suggesting that Mayweather may have violated the contract in another way by scheduling other fights without approval, which, if true, could put him in an even worse legal position with multiple breaches at the same time.
His money in cash to his manager, Al Layman, and Al Layman spent the money. The Muslim in the bow tie spent the money. You see a man coming and he a Muslim in a bow tie, he's spending your money. Oh, it's gone. It's good, it's gone. You know they send the Nation of Islam down there. You seen the Muhammad Ali story? Don't act like you ain't seen that. Nation of Islam was all up over there. They were all up over Floyd Mayweather's fights and bank accounts and stuff. And so he received it in cash, and Floyd Mayweather is saying he's missing it, and how dare Showtime gives him the money without his permission. He was like, well, wait a minute, but you gave him permission. Yeah, but I didn't tell y'all, I told him. So he's trying to use a way to get in there so he can hold him responsible, because he know he's not gonna get the money back from the Nation of Islam at all. That money gone. That money gone.
Pacquiao's camp has also hinted that fear might be a factor, suggesting that Mayweather could be trying to protect his undefeated record by avoiding a real fight and pushing for an exhibition instead.
They were seeing how much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was, because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly. And they don't ask you for...
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you, well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely, they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid is...
Analysts point out that Manny Pacquiao has remained active and competitive, while Floyd Mayweather has mostly been involved in exhibitions, raising doubts about how he would perform in a real professional bout at this stage of his career.
No, honestly. But offhand, you're asking me what my thoughts are offhand. I can never... Listen, when I had a lot of money, I was a lot of times spending more, and I wasn't tracking every single cent, right? I mean, I was kind of reckless. I was young. I was, you know, a pro athlete. I went from having nothing to having a bunch of money. So yeah, I'm not always tracking it as well as I should. But bro, if I'm missing a lot of difference money, if there's a huge difference, I'm gonna track it automatically just because it's so obvious. 340 million, no matter how much money you're making, 340 million does not slip through the cracks like you said.
Third of $1 billion.
Like, it's not, you know, I don't know. Like, there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went to with my friend to go check out a Ferrari. He was
Netflix. This fight is not just another event. It is a major strategic move to dominate live sports streaming globally, especially after the success of previous high-profile events, making this rematch incredibly important for their future plans.